My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all. Okay, so there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is I got my wallpaper and I put it up and I love it. Kind of the bad news is that it has birds in it. It's like these pods and berries and leaves and birds, and only one of the birds is in frame. That's the bad news. This one, you can kind of see this one if I move to the side, but there's a big beautiful bird with its wings spread. I almost said its arms spread. A bird with its arms spread, and it's right up here just out of frame. It was just hard to kind of tell how everything would line up, and I guess I didn't realize how incredibly large the scale of the pattern was. I still think that this is very beautiful, even though it's not exactly what I had envisioned, and I'm pleased with it for now. It's removable, it's peel and stick wallpaper. I got it from an Etsy seller, an independent seller who prints it himself, and so I'll leave him linked down below if you're interested in something like this. The whole process was seamless, except for the part where after all my trying to envision how it would line up, there's not a bird in frame. But it's fine, we're moving on. The other good news is I got a haircut, and I asked her to cut the bangs really short because I just wanted to extend as long as possible the time before which they would be getting in my eyes, because the best laid plans of Hannah's, the best laid plans are always to get a bang trim like, a real grown-up person. But those plans always go awry because what happens is the moment they start poking me in the eye, I'm like, I can't live like this. And I grab my own trimming scissors and shears and I texturize them myself. And as I do that over the course of the 4 months or so that I usually go in between haircuts these days, I always mess them up more and more. So I just wanted to kind of give myself a little running start of like a whole window of time before they grow into my eyes. But I kind of like them. This is good news too. I like them short. I'm really surprised at myself, and I think I might kind of try to like keep them at this length, or at least keep going back to this length. I also got flowers from my sister for my birthday. That's good news. And had a great time with my family. This is the first video I'm filming. It's actually not, this is bad news. This isn't the first video I'm filming since I got back from all of the hullabaloo, because I filmed a video and the audio was off. There was something terribly wrong. I think I fixed it, but let me know if you hear like a fluttering. What it sounded like I filmed this video already, and what it sounded like was that there was a very close helicopter through the whole thing. It was like through the whole video, and nothing I did in post-production could fix it. So I've done some things with the settings and all of the stuff. I think I know what it was. I think I fixed it. But if there's something wrong about this, then forgive me for having gone ahead and posted it. I just feel like something's got to give. But I do hope that it's fixed. So let me know if the audio is like normal or if there's something wrong. But in the process of fixing it, I turned up the input volume a little bit because I've gotten consistent feedback that my videos are at a slightly lower volume than most YouTube videos. So if that is fixed and my video is at a better volume, if this video is at a better volume than my videos usually are, then please let me know that as well. I think that's it for the good news and the bad news, except that, oh no, there's more good news and there's more bad news. I'll give you the bad news first. My period of time during which I'm not able to film at my usual rate, which is 3 videos a week, is extending further than I thought it was. Sadly, we're going to have to go up to the memorial service of Joe's uncle this weekend, and of course that's the most important thing to do, but it's taking up days during which I usually knock out a bunch of videos, so that's putting a lot of pressure on next week. I thought that I'd be able to get back in the saddle next week, but it's not going to be like that. It's going to be another week of scrambling to get enough videos, and then after that there's some unexpected travel coming up, and then a bunch of my friends coming into town. So it's like, I think March might kind of be like February. I'm just going to have to accept that. I'm aiming for like 2 videos a week once again, and I can't wait to get it back up to 3, maybe even 4. Love it when I'm at 5, but it's just not in the cards for this month. So thank you for bearing with me and continuing to watch even though I've become a little bit less consistent. The good news is that I'm really excited about this video. This is the video in which I'm going to talk about what skincare products I would buy for myself if I were starting over from scratch. So if all of my skincare disappeared overnight and I had to go restock my skincare cabinets on my own dime, what would I buy to sort of fill out like a basic, bare bones, but still very robust skincare regimen, which is what I would want for myself. Something not too expensive, something that doesn't contain really at this point any luxury priced products. I think there are none that I have chosen for this list, but that I feel like have the actives and the protection and the moisture that I really need. If you've been following me since my no-buy year, or you've gone back and watched videos from my no-buy year, then you may remember that until my no-buy year, and actually most of the way through my no-buy year, I really believed that I had to pay top dollar for skincare in order to keep my skin in good condition. And I lost that belief during my no-buy year. By the end of it, I was just like, even if it's the best thing I could do for my skin, given the situation that I'm in financially and just my general economic status, it's not actually worth it to pay this amount of money per month, per year on skincare. So I jettisoned all of those luxury products from my routine. At that time, almost all of them. By now I have jettisoned all of them. And I went in search of products that don't cost an arm and a leg and that wouldn't put me into debt, or that wouldn't put me into a situation where I couldn't save money and would still be active enough and protective enough and moisturizing enough to keep my skin in good shape. And guess what? My skin is in as good of shape as it has ever been. The products that I'm using now are doing what the products that I used to use did. So I'm excited to share all of this information with you. Lastly though, that was my no-buy year. At the end of the no-buy year, I started doing a bunch of research and finding new skincare products at lower price points that would work the same as my old ones. But then last year I started getting PR. So I've gotten to experiment and just like learn about a bunch of products at a bunch of different price points that I would never have known about or tried myself. And a lot of them have made it onto my list. So it's kind of proof of concept for PR, just in terms of ways in which it can actually benefit me positively as a member of this community, and then by extension you, because it's actually, research in some ways, and that's really great. The opportunity of research with trial and error. The other thing is that because I get PR at any given moment, pretty much since the middle of 2019, at any given moment, the products that I'm using on a day-to-day basis, or the products that you see me use, aren't necessarily the products that I would be buying for myself if all of my skincare were to disappear and if all of my PR were to disappear. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to kind of like clear all of that PR stuff out of the way and tell you exactly what my list would be if I were starting from scratch. I feel like I just went round and round in circles, and this was much longer of an intro than it needed to be. But the good news is we're going ahead and getting into the meat of the video. Let's talk about this routine in order, starting with the morning. So in the morning, I don't cleanse my face with a product. I just use water to emulsify the residue of all of the layers of skincare that I slept in. And then when I rinse that away, I feel like my skin is very clean, because that residue, whatever is still on my skin, has been protecting my skin from anything that might have gotten onto it during the night. So as long as all of that is rinsed away, I feel like anything that made contact with my face during the night has also been rinsed away. And then I pat it dry and maybe give it a little bit of a roughing up with a washcloth, a dry washcloth. So that's the first thing I do in the morning, no product necessary. And then the very first thing that I put on my skin after I rinse my face and dry it is a vitamin C serum. And this is a case in which the product that I would buy is the product that I'm using. I really, really love it. I love it so much that it cannot be usurped by PR products, and they have tried. So it's the Timeless Vitamin C Serum. I purchased it myself, the bottle that I actually just emptied. It's in my empties, and I'm planning to purchase it again for myself. Even though I have received some vitamin C serums in PR, I haven't even opened them. I've passed all of them along unopened because the one from Timeless is the one for me. It's also only $20, which is amazing. I also love that Timeless is a small, independently owned brand. All right, we're like 5 minutes into the video, and I already had to change the battery pack. We're probably 10 minutes into the video. I don't know how long that intro was, but I'm hoping that everything's not effed up. I'm very worried about the sound, if you can't tell. What was I talking about? The Timeless Vitamin C Serum. Yeah, that's absolutely the one. That's the one I do buy. It's the one I would buy in this hypothetical situation. Nothing is different between what I'm doing and what I would do. And I think that part of the reason that I haven't allowed myself to like test PR vitamin C serums is that I feel like it's kind of a delicate thing to formulate. It has to be strong and potent. It has to be fresh. And one of the great things about Timeless is that they ship only fresh ones. Like they don't have a bunch sitting in storage. They like make fresh batches. And so you know that you've gotten a fresh one if you order it from their site. They ship it quickly, so you know that it's not spoiling by being in transit for a long time. And when I get mine, I just pop it straight into the fridge, so it's not exposed to very much light or air during its entire tenure as my product. And I noticed a palpable difference. It's definitely active, and it definitely helps with brightness and with dark spots and stuff. It's just, to me, it's like the best vitamin C serum on the market, maybe unless I were willing to like pay exorbitant amounts of money, but I'm not. So for someone who's looking for something affordable and very potent, and also it's a brand I love to support, Timeless Vitamin C Serum all the way. Then in the mornings, actually what I frequently do is just go straight to my SPF. I'm kind of a morning skincare minimalist these days. If I feel like I need a bit more, I will layer in an oil, an all-purpose oil. And if I were buying my own all-purpose oil, I would buy the marula oil from The Ordinary. I really, really like marula oil. I think it helps with bacteria on the skin. Like it's sort of like a naturally anti-inflammatory and antibacterial oil. And I also like that it's just like a single oil. It's like just one thing. It's just marula oil. If you get this $10 bottle of marula oil from The Ordinary, there's no filler in there. There's no other oil. They haven't like messed with the proportions. It's not like all grapeseed oil and just a little bit of whatever active or trendy oil the company is trying to sell. I like the idea of having a bottle of just like a single origin oil, or like an oil that's just one thing, especially as an all-purpose oil, and especially marula oil. My skin has gotten along really well with marula oil in the past, so that would be my choice. And on days where I felt like I needed a little bit more, I would layer a couple of drops of marula oil and press it on top of the vitamin C serum, and then I would go for my SPF. Sometimes I use a hydrating toner if my skin's feeling really dry, but when I sat myself down and thought about purchasing an entire skincare routine, I realized that I probably wouldn't purchase an essence or a hydrating toner. I just don't enjoy the step enough. Even though I do think it's good for my skin, I just don't relish it enough. I feel like it's a little bit of a drag. Sometimes in a pinch, if my skin's really dry, I'm grateful to have a thing like that. And maybe time would tell. Maybe after some time passed and I didn't have one, I would buy one because I would miss it. But the honest truth is, if I'm very, very frank with myself, if I were buying all of these skincare products myself and I were really just like replacing my whole routine, I would just skip essence and toner. Right now, that's where I'm at with it. So I would just have the marula oil as like my moisturizing layer, and then I would go into my SPF. So the Aaron's Faces SPF is just my ride or die, as they say on YouTube. It is expensive for the bottle, but it's not expensive for the ounce. So it's $50 for a 4-ounce bottle. But many, especially high-end mineral sunscreens, like the other ones I've tested, many of them come in like an ounce and a half or a 2-ounce bottle for something like $30, $40, $45. So it breaks down to being a very reasonable price per ounce. And I've also sort of road tested that theory in my life, in that I've had a full bottle, the full $50 bottle, the 4-ounce bottle, and had it last for months and months and months when smaller bottles of sunscreen wouldn't have lasted that long. So then you're looking at the price per year. I think that I figured out that I'd be buying about 2 bottles per year. So it's $100 per year for that gorgeous formulation, that beautiful sunscreen. And it also has peptides in it. And that's another reason I don't feel like I need some sort of like anti-aging or protective peptide serum sandwiched into my morning routine, because it's contained in the sunscreen. So it's just those 3 products that I would be purchasing for the morning: the vitamin C serum, the marula oil, and the Aaron's Faces SPF. Now the evening skincare routine is where I feel like I pull out the big guns in terms of ingredients. So at the end of my no-buy year, when I was like, I can no longer be a patron of Drunk Elephant and Sunday Riley, I'm just not living that kind of life. Like when I finally got my head screwed on straight and realized that I had no place buying those luxury skincare items, especially not one in every category across the board, spending thousands of dollars a year on sunscreen, on skincare, like who did I think I was? When I realized I had no place doing that, and I started looking around for alternatives, I became very ingredients focused. And I started to think about putting ingredients on my skin instead of putting products on my skin. And that like opened up a whole new world for me because I feel like I can seek intelligently. I can seek skincare in an informed way because I'm really just seeking ingredients and good formulations, irrespective of like the way that the shininess and the trendiness and the luxury branding of certain brands can blind me. This is especially applicable to products that perform a physical purpose rather than like a nourishing or an active purpose. Cleansing is a perfect example. So I haven't talked about this product for a while, but if you've been with me from the beginning or at the end of my Know By Year, you'll remember it. I discovered a cleansing oil that is made up mostly of my choice oil for cleansing, which is grapeseed oil. I had tried some higher end oils that were mostly grapeseed oil and really, really loved the way that my skin responded to them. So I basically went on a hunt for a grapeseed oil based oil cleanser that had a low price per ounce. And the one that I found is the Simple Cleansing Oil. It's $10 right now. I think the price fluctuates a little bit. At least every time I check, I feel like it used to be $8 on Amazon. It's still available. For a while there was a scare that they were going to discontinue it, but now it's back in stock as like a single bottle. For a while you could only buy it if you bought 2 bottles at once. So hopefully they aren't discontinuing it. But it's $10 for a 4-ounce bottle. So the bottle is a little bit small, but the price is also quite low for a cleansing oil, especially a good one, a grapeseed oil based one. And if all of my skincare got taken away, I would definitely choose that as my cleansing oil. For a while it was the one that I was using. And then when I started getting PR, cleansing balms and cleansing oils, those are things that seem to just be kind of coming in PR a lot. So I've just been testing out a bunch of different ones that have come my way since the middle of the beginning of 2019. But before that, this was the one that I was buying, and it is the one that I would buy again. The second cleanse is actually really interesting to me. I feel like I had never really, no, I did have one. It was the Mario Badescu Glycolic Cleanser. That was the one that I had settled on. If you had asked me this same question a year ago, that's what I would have told you. And I was buying that one. I bought it actually a couple of times, replaced it. It's been in my empties. I've talked about it. And I recently, the last time it was in my empties, I decided to lose it from my routine because it's formulated with SLS. And for me, the jury is still out a little bit. Like, I don't feel like I'm a person for whom SLS is like extremely irritating. I have used products that contain it, and that cleanser was always fine for me. It was always fine. But I have found one that's just as inexpensive that I like just as much, if not more. And it doesn't have SLS in it. It has a much better ingredients list. And I have it because Simbri gave it to me. It came to her in PR, and she knew that I needed a second cleanse, and she gave it to me. So this is a situation in which I'm really glad that I'm getting to test things out. I had never even heard of the brand. It's called Insta Naturals. It's in my shower. One of the things I really like about it is that it has a pump. I really love stuff with a pump. I don't know, there's this like laziness surrounding like the minutia of the actions of skincare that makes me really appreciate having a pump because it's so easy. The one I have right now is the vitamin C cleanser. It is a 7-ounce bottle and it's only $20. So it's a huge bottle and it feels to me like it's just gonna last forever. Also, because of the way that it lathers, a little bit goes a very, very long way. And I found quickly when I started using it that if I use a full pump, it's way too much. It just gets everywhere. So I feel like I even use like a quarter pump every time I cleanse my face. And it does an amazing job of getting off all of the residue. It's not drying. The ingredients are fantastic. So I looked it up for this video because I was like, you know what, this is what I would do. I would buy this one again, especially given that it's only $20. And then I saw that they have, in addition to their vitamin C cleanser, the one that I'm using, they have a glycolic cleanser. And I love having a little bit of glycolic acid in my second cleanse. That was why I liked the Mario Badescu one. I just feel like it helps to keep my pores like nice and scrubbed out and keep me from getting pimples. So I think if I were actually to buy one of my own, I would try the glycolic cleanser from Insta Naturals. I think that that is what I would do. Vitamin C is a fantastic ingredient, but to me, it's not really doing anything in a cleanser. So the vitamin C claim isn't why I like the cleanser that I have. It's just its physical properties and its price. Everything adds up. It's fantastic. So the next step for me in the evenings, every other day or every third day, is a chemical exfoliant. And right now I'm using the Lotion P50. That's a really strong and sort of cult classic chemical exfoliant. It's got lactic acid in it. It's got niacinamide in it. It's an AHA and BHA toner. It's a very lightweight formulation. So you put it right on freshly cleansed skin and it sinks right in because it's watery. And then you can layer other things on top of it, but it goes deep into the pores and like speeds up the turnover of the cells and just cleanses them out and, does all of the good things that chemical exfoliants do. The Lotion P50 is a good deal per ounce, I feel, because even though the bottle is $70, it's lasting forever. I mean, I feel like I have maybe a third of my bottle left. And didn't I buy it at the beginning of my it was a replacement during my no-buy year. We're coming up on maybe 2 years that I've had it. So at $70 stretched over 2 years, the price per use, the price per ounce is probably very, very low. However, I realized that if I were going to buy all of these skincare products at once, I wouldn't want to shell out the $70, even if it was going to last me, even if it would last me forever, even if it would last me a little longer than the one I'm going to show you. I still can't imagine that the price per ounce would end up lower. This is the one I would buy. And again, this is something I've only gotten a chance to discover because it came in PR. It's from Good Molecules and it's the overnight exfoliating treatment. It's only $6. And it's an AHA BHA resurfacing peel. It's a little bit more gel-like than the Lotion P50, which is truly like a water. But it soaks in as much. It's like as lightweight just in terms of how it interacts with your skin, especially when it's the first thing going onto your skin after you cleanse it. And I find it so effective. I really feel like when I wake up, you know how if you use a good chemical exfoliant, you wake up the next morning and you just kind of have smoother skin. You just feel that stuff has happened. This gives that to me, just like Lotion P50. I wanted to say just like Good Genes, but Good Genes is kind of like crazy what it can sometimes do, especially in terms of like an overnight facial. But in terms of maintenance, this is just doing the same thing. It's doing the same thing. And I think long-term use of this provides me the same results as short-term use of Good Genes. So I would happily lose Good Genes and the Lotion P50. I obviously bought the Lotion P50 myself. I only still have Good Genes because some bottles have been given to me. But I find myself reaching for this more often than them. I haven't used Good Genes. I think I maybe used it once in like the past 3 weeks. And I use this all the time, like every couple of days. I'm just reaching for this as a layering exfoliating serum. So I do feel like my skin being maintained right now, staying chemically exfoliated, is due to this product. I don't feel like I'm confused about whether it's this or whether it's those products that's keeping my skin healthy. I feel like I've road tested this one enough pretty much on its own to know that I would be happy to just use this. And if I were buying all this stuff, that's what I would do. I would just buy this as my chemical exfoliant. On the days when I don't use the chemical exfoliant, I am using some kind of retinol. Or really what I should say is on the days when I want to use a retinol, I don't use a chemical exfoliant underneath it. So on some days, I just switch straight to a hydrating layer, which I'll talk about in a minute, and then I put on a retinol cream. And the one that I'm using right now is from Body Mary. I've talked about it before. I think it's a pretty lightweight, and I mean that in like the wrestling way. No, I don't mean, it is a lightweight cream. Like it is a physically lightweight cream, the formula is. But I'm talking about, when you have like a lightweight and a heavyweight. I think that it's a lightweight retinol. A heavyweight would be like a prescription retinol, or maybe even like the one from Drunk Elephant or something. And there may come a day when I decide to mess around with that, get a prescription, try out another one, try out a heavyweight. But for now, I feel like the Body Mary one, it is helping my skin stay smooth. It is having an effect. It is helping to keep my skin clear. And it's just helping me like steadily dose my skin with some form of some retinol for the time being. And for the time being, that's enough for me. That's fine. And it's so affordable. It's $18. And that's why it made this list, because it's giving me the thing that I just mentioned. Like it's giving me that steady dose. It's helping me just keep retinol in my routine, but for not a lot of money. I got the bottle that I have, which is my first bottle from Simbri. Again, like she got it in PR and she gave it to me, but I would totally buy it again. When I run out, I will totally buy it again if I don't have any other like retinol or retinoid products floating around that came in PR to test. So that's the one that I switch off between the exfoliating, the chemical exfoliant, and the retinol, and those are the two that I would get, the Good Molecules and the Body Mary. If I'm using the retinol, I usually put a really hefty oil on before I go in with the retinol, because the retinol is a cream and I tend to go oils to creams. I go like serum, oils, creams in order. Also, I like to put kind of a thick layer of the retinol cream on, and you can't put an oil on over top of that. You have to like press an oil in while there's nothing like sitting on top of the skin. I'm just saying that I'm telling you about the oil now, but if I were going in order in my routine, I would have put it on before the retinol cream that I just talked about. And the oil is the Aaron's Faces Tamanu oil. I feel like I never want to be without that oil. And so it's kind of like in the all-purpose oil slot in the evening routine, and the marula oil is in the all-purpose oil slot in the morning routine. But sometimes I use the tamanu oil in the morning if my skin is feeling super, super dry. And sometimes I layer oils in the evening. I'll put on like a lighter one, and then this one, which is a really heavy, it's so beefy that it almost can sometimes feel sticky. It doesn't stay sticky on the face, but it just has grit. It is an oil with grit. And it is so nourishing. It's good for scars. It's good for stretch marks. It gets like good on the body. It's antibacterial. It again is just a bottle of the amazing green fragrant oil from the tamanu nut. There's nothing else in the bottle besides that one kind of oil. And I use it like on if I have acne spots, I'll like dot it on. When my piercings were giving me trouble, I put it on to them to just help them heal quickly, and it really helped. I just think it is an amazing oil, especially for someone who's worried about keeping acne at bay or has a history of acne. I love that stuff so much. So I would absolutely buy that. And it's $35, so it's getting up there a little bit. It's $35 for an ounce. I think it's probably the most expensive thing per bottle other than the sunscreen, and actually that makes it probably the most expensive thing per ounce that's on here. But as I've said before, to me that tamanu oil is liquid gold, and it's kind of like if I had to only have one product, that would be it. So just to reiterate, because I'm kind of giving you like a flash in the pan skincare routine in this video, on some nights I would go Good Molecules, tamanu oil, then sleeping moisturizer. And on some nights I would skip this and I would go straight to the tamanu oil after cleansing. And then I would put on the retinol and then layer a sleeping cream on top of that. And my sleeping cream of choice, if I'm buying it myself, which I finally am, actually, I'm almost done with the last jar of sleeping cream that came in PR. And I actually just placed an order for the one that I want, the one that I would buy myself, and it is the La Joe Cactus Cream. This is another totally random thing that came in PR last year. I was just like, sure, I'll try it. It's like a little tiny K-beauty brand, and my skin feels so amazing when I use that cactus cream. It is very moisturizing, but mostly it's occlusive, and I do think it might have a tiny bit of like a polishing or exfoliating property because there's urea in it, and I think that urea might be like a gentle chemical exfoliant. I don't know a ton about it, but maybe I'll link like the Paula's Choice description of that ingredient. But I think when I was really into the cactus cream back in the day, when I first had the bottle that they sent me in PR, I looked at the ingredients, and that was the one that stuck out to me as being kind of unusual, that I didn't know that much about. And then when I looked it up, I was like, that's probably the thing that's making it feel so amazing. That's making my skin feel so amazing and plump and smooth in the morning when I sleep in a thick layer of that cream on top of everything else. So at that point, with all of the oils and stuff layered underneath it, the oil, maybe 2 oils, and either the exfoliating treatment or the retinol, it's not like the cactus cream is like penetrating deep into my skin. That's not why I use it. I put it on to seal everything else in, and again, to kind of like keep my skin protected during the night. And it's the best thing for that purpose that I've ever found. The price does fluctuate though. I think when I first got it, it was like $7 or maybe $12, and then it went up to $20. And the bottle that I just bought was for $15. So I'm saying for the purposes of this video that the price is currently $15. If I purchase all of these things, the Timeless Vitamin C Serum, the ordinary marula oil, and the Aaron's Faces SPF for the morning, the Simple Cleansing Oil, the Instant Naturals Cleanser, the Good Molecules Overnight Exfoliating Face Treatment, the Aaron's Faces Tamanu Oil, the Body Mary Retinol Surge, and the Ladder Joe Cactus Cream for the evening. All of that would add up to $180, which is a lot of money in the world, but is so much less than what I used to spend. I mean, I used to buy single products that were like $100, $80. It used to be that like just 2 or 3 products would add up to $180. And then on top of that, I had to account for like my cleansers and my serums and my oil. I mean, it's compared to how it used to be, it is a great sort of starter cost for an entire routine, including actives, including vitamin C, including a really lovely double cleanse method. I'm just very pleased with this. I would be pleased with this for me, and I would not regret a single cent of that $180 if I were in this situation and had to start over from scratch with my skincare. And I do feel like my skin as it is now, I mean, it's not actually in the best shape right now. It's a little bit dry. But, in general, my skin's in really quite good shape these days. And I feel like this routine would keep it in exactly as good of shape as it's in. I feel like I've experimented enough with ingredients and tried out these exact products enough to know that that is true, at least for me, to be confident that that is true. And of course, the $180 cost of starting to use this routine doesn't really tell you anything, because it's not about how much it costs to buy a bottle or to buy a bottle of each of these. It's about how long they last. It's about how many times I would have to replace each of those bottles, and therefore how much I would be spending per year or per use. It's about the like per day and then per year cost of a routine like this. And I don't exactly know, like I haven't done all the math and worked it out, but I do know that each one of these products is at a price point that I would feel comfortable spending and then repurchasing, even if it's like monthly, a couple of times every quarter. But I think for most of these products, it's like every 3, 4 to 6 months. I think that the Timeless Vitamin C Serum traditionally lasts me 5 to 6 months for $20. So it's really, this is going to work out. Like it would work out for me, I think. So I went through that whole thing, and then I really sat myself down again, and I was like, is that really it, Hannah? Like, would you be happy with just that? And then I was like, no, Hannah, no, I wouldn't. There are a couple of supplementary things that I would probably buy. I think realistically, like if we're really playing the scenario out in our heads, the first thing that I would do would be to replace all of those morning and nighttime routine products. And I would probably stop there, and I would be like, that was $180. Now I'm going to take a breather. And then probably within a month, I would buy some sheet masks because I really love just the way that a sheet mask can trap in and pack in other ingredients. I didn't pick an exact pack of sheet masks that I would buy. On my list, I just put $1 per sheet masks from basically anywhere. So sometimes I see the When biocellulose masks at Costco, and they price out to like $1 or $2 a mask when they're at Costco. I would totally snap those up if I saw them in this scenario. Now when I see them, I don't buy them because I have backup sheet masks, and it's just not the way I roll anymore to buy backups on top of backups. But if I had no sheet masks and I saw them at Costco, I would totally get them. When they're not at Costco, I think they cost a little bit too much for me, but there are so many packs of masks on Amazon that price out to $1 per mask. I would just be like trying those out, messing around, trying to find my favorite one. And then the other thing that I realized that I would inevitably buy for myself would be one jar mask. And it would be a moisturizing mask. It would specifically be the Glossier Moisturizing Moon Mask. I've talked about masks before, right? I used to have this incredibly expensive masking habit before my No Buy Year. My No Buy Year allowed me to see how economically unfeasible it was and how bad of a deal masking is, because the masks cost so much, and then you just use it like 8 times or something. And so it's not like you're getting it consistently on your skin enough to actually change your skin. What really matters to your skin is what you put on it every day. It's not what you do like once a week. I'm not saying it has no effect. I'm just saying what truly matters, what will really maintain your skin or change your skin, are the ingredients that you put onto it every single day. Masking is supplementary to that. It's just like a little boost. But when you price it out, the costs don't line up that way. Masking tends to cost a ton. The masks cost a ton per use. They just do. So most of them, all of the ones I used to use pretty much, except for this one, and most of the ones I've tried in PR, as nice as they are, wouldn't be worth it to me to buy with my beauty budget. But the Glossier Moisturizing Moon Mask is only $22, and it lasts for a really long time. A little goes a long way. And when I don't have it, I miss it. And right now I have a number of masks that I'm trying to get through, like mud masks and exfoliating masks that have come in PR. And a lot of them I really, really like. But I just, again, I don't think that I would spend the money to have like a full complement of masks. I feel like when it's time to mask, what I want is moisture. This is what I'm trying to say. I have actives in my routine elsewhere. So when my skin gets out of whack, usually it just gets dry. And I just really want to pack moisture in. And that's what the Glossier mask does for me. I love how it makes my skin feel. It just feels like it gets in amongst my cells and plumps them up. And that's the kind of masking that I dream of. I really want to replace it. I had it for a while and it's been a long time, but I think I might go ahead and replace it soon, even though I have some other masks. They just don't serve the same purpose. And I really love that one from Glossier. And I feel like it's pretty clear at this point, since I've thought it through, that in spite of my generally against stance on masks, like single-use masks like that or jar masks, that is one that's worth it to me. It's like the only one that's worth it to me. And I think I would eventually give in and buy it if I were in this scenario. And then the last sort of supplemental thing that I think that I would buy would be a microdermabrasion, or like a scrub, a facial scrub. And the two that I've gotten to try in NPR that I really love both of them. I would be choosing between them, but I don't know for sure which one I would pick. Maybe I would trade off. The two that I've really loved are the Aaron's Faces Antioxidant Polish and the Derma E Microdermabrasion Scrub. The microdermabrasion one is it's like a very, very fine sandy paste. Really, really, it almost feels like also it has maybe shea butter in it or something, and it's really scrubby and sandy. The one from Aaron's Faces is a little bit more sort of gel-like and cooling, and I would say almost more nourishing, but then it also does a good job of scrubbing. And they're the same price pretty much. The Aaron's Faces one's $35, the Derma E one is $29, so it's $5 cheaper, but when you're pricing it out over several uses, they're both kind of like close to the $30 mark. And they're both great. And it's just, that's another thing that at the end of my no-buy year, I was like, I never need to buy a face scrub again. Like my routine is fine without one. And then as I've gotten the chance to try some in PR, I've been enjoying them so much that I think it would be worth it to me. It would be worth the $30 to me to instate one of those into my regular skincare routine at this point. I'm really grateful that I've gotten a chance to try some of these products, like the Aaron's Faces products and the Good Molecules and even the Derma E stuff, to try some of these products that I wouldn't have. Like, I did a bunch of research, but to try something when you're trying to find the right thing and you're not totally sure, it's just hard. It's hard to splash out on it. It's hard to take the risk when you're doing a bunch of trial and error and trying to find new products and spending your own money on them. I feel so lucky to have been able to try like the Body Mary Retinol, the Ladder Joe Cactus Cream, like a lot of these things I discovered them because I was able to try them complimentary in exchange for a review. So that is cool. It's cool to see that this list has been informed by the experience of like being on this platform and getting the chance to test things out. I feel like my breadth of knowledge has grown because of PR, which is obvious. Like, of course that would be true. That's like the whole purpose of it. But it's kind of nice for me to see the true reality of that, and that these products that I have recommended and that I use, I love them so much that I would buy them myself. They've made it onto the list for the things that I would be buying and probably will at some point in my future buy, because there will come a day when I don't have like another oil to use, and it'll be up to me to buy one. And I'll buy that marula oil from The Ordinary. Okay, I feel like this video is sort of like petering out. I think it's time. It's time for me to go. And let me know if you'd like to see like a makeup version of this. I feel like I could totally do that. Like if all my makeup disappeared, what would I buy for base products? What would I buy for eyeshadows if I could only have a little bit, or if I were only like spending a finite amount of money, or if I wanted to only buy a few things so that I was comfortable with how much I was spending. Let me know if you would want to see me talk through building like a makeup collection from scratch as well. Gosh, I'm also kind of losing my voice. it's the end. Thank you so much for watching this video, y'all. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.